Here's the thing too, though, right? When think about what you just said. You said when people are talking about investor, you're thinking about stocks. Stocks of what?
Right,
Of
right,
business,
right,
right?
right.
So I'd rather own the whole business than just, the
A
small
portion.
stock. And when I
Yeah.
say the whole, remember, I'm still of the mindset of 25% of a watermelon is better than 100% of grape. So I'm saying I'd rather own a larger chunk than a small stock, because my Apple stock does great, but it does way better for the people who have all the shares up way above me. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So I want all of those shares. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna explain something really quick on why I made a shift into, after I got the first business, why do I keep buying more? Because I know people who's like, oh, I acquired one business, I acquired two, I acquired three, I'm good.
Please.
But why did I keep acquiring more? One, it was just so much fun, especially since I could do it without money coming out of my pocket through a leveraged buyout. But two is because of something I'm gonna break down to you. Financial freedom versus financial independence versus financially untouchable. So complacency is the enemy of success.
Correct.
And at every step of the way, I was complacent. I wasn't, no, not every step, most steps, major steps. I was determined to get to 6 figures before I hit 30. Determined. I was like, because I came out of college and I was like, yo, I'm making 32,000 a year. What the hell is this? What did I go to college for if this is what it comes out in?
Right.
So I was like, nah, I need to get up. And then I realized, oh, most people will only give you an increase of like 2% for the year. I'll never get to 6 figures in that way if I stay with this company. So I moved to another company, and during that shift, that move, I got a huge increase. And then I stayed there for 2 years and moved to another one. During that shift, I got a huge increase. And then I got to my 6 figures and I started feeling good. And then I got complacent. It's like, yo, 6 figures, this is awesome. I can't believe it. All my friends was like, yo, you're making 140,000. Oh man. I was like, I don't need nothing more than this.
Yeah.
Then my mind got opened after a while. And I realized, nah, I could do better. I wanted a couple 100,000. That was my goal. I wasn't even thinking million because I thought it was unattainable by me at the time. I honestly thought that. And then I got into the e-commerce stuff. And once I hit it, I fell into 7 figures. And I was like, wait a minute. We are on track to do 1.4. Like my mind blew. I was like, what is this? So once you get to financial freedom, that's the first one, element that I mentioned. Financial freedom was like, okay, cool. I can afford pretty much anything that I want. I'm not saying I wanted a helicopter or a jet, so I can't afford that. But any little thing that I want that I already was using before I got to being financially free, I can afford it. I could pick up the phone without worrying about it being a bill collector. You know, when you be scared to answer that phone, like, oh, who's this? I could go to the restaurant, and when they drop the bill, I'm just like, yeah, okay, all right, here you go. And I just keep doing, I didn't even look at the check. That's not a good decision to make, but still, the freedom is what I'm trying to explain, that financial freedom. However, that money was still dependent on active recruitment of it for me. I had to do things still. I'm not working in it, but I was still doing things that I needed to have to do so that the money keeps flowing over time, right? Whether it's just creating content or whatever it may be. Then I realized that I got complacent there too. I was like, yo, I'm good. I can buy anything I want. I'm good. Then I realized that no, there's another stage, and that's called financial independence. Now, instead of actively needing to bring in this money, I had multiple assets that were cash flowing and producing for me, replacing that money that I was actively working on before. This is when you start to see Beez like disappears from social media for a bit because he don't give a fuck no more. Excuse my language.
Right.
He's like, oh, I got money coming in doing this, so I don't need to be on creating reels and whatnot. And I kind of just, you don't see Beez for a while. You still see regular posts, but you don't see the custom posts from him or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And then I got kind of complacent here too. was like, now I can sit back and chill. Money's coming in. I was getting facials and doing all type of fun stuff. But then it was Joe, who's a member of our community in the BBI. And he said, Beez, you helped me to get to 7 figures. But what you're showing me now with the acquisitions makes me realize that I have a path to being a billionaire. And when he said that, I knew that already, but it took him saying it for me to be like, yo, I've been sitting here too complacent. I'm making millions. Everything looks good. I got my time back. So that's why I got complacent again. And then I could get to $1 billion too. Why not keep going? I can help more people. I can do more things with it. It's not just about I want more cash. I'm good. But being able to do more, you know that I try to help the kids a lot. Holiday times and charities and all stuff. How am I gonna do that if I don't have enough to be able to give to them? And then on top of that, I want to give them knowledge. How am I gonna do that if I don't know how to get to $1 billion if I don't actually do it? I know what the path is because I know what it is with acquisitions, but I still need to do it myself. So I got to do it so I could show the youth that, hey, you can become a billionaire too. So that billionaire level, and it's not just about the money, but that money where that level where you don't got to worry about nothing, that's the financially untouchable. So financial freedom, you could afford anything you want, but it's still actively recruiting that money. Financial independence, now you got multiple streams that replace that money that was up here on financial freedom, and now you don't even have to do nothing because it's still coming in regular. But financially untouchable, that's a whole different ball game. And I'm not there yet, but mark my words, I will be.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That, as they say on Wall Street, that FU money. You know,
exactly.
So let's dive into some of the things that you said, because you were throwing some words around. You were talking about so first off, everybody needs to know one of the things that Beez does, the reason why he gives back the way he does, because that's how we connected, because he wanted to make sure that he was doing things for the youth. He believes in kids learning how to go further than what we did. So that's one of the things I definitely want to say I respect about you, and that's how we connected initially. But you kept mentioning something called leverage buyout. What is that?
Yeah, that's a super sauce right there, man.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I do. I always keep my books close by. So anybody can see it right here. This book was one of the books that changed my life. Why should my guys have all the fun? It's the story of Reginald Lewis, who was the first Black billionaire in modern times, right? But most people don't know anything about him.
Correct.
Why? Well, what was he doing? How did he become a billionaire? Well, he did something called leveraged buyouts in order to buy companies, do exactly what I'm doing now, but he's doing it through large acquisitions. What Elon Musk did this year with Twitter was a leveraged buyout, partially leveraged buyout, right? He incurred debt in the business in order to pay for him to acquire it, right? Leverage buyout means I could buy a business without the money coming out of my pocket. I just put the debt in other places. I get the money from other places that's not from my pocket to pay the seller, right? And I do it in a creative way that I don't have to pay it all up front. One of the first things that I do is seller financing, and that stretches it out over years. But who's going to pay that? Not me, because I take over the business now and now I'm paying the seller financing over years. The business is paying it. And you got to look at the numbers before you got into the acquisition, so you know that this business can afford to service that much debt.
Yep.
Right? And still pay you, and still hire a CEO. And so you got to look at these numbers to make those type of decisions, right? Now, so leverage buyout is just creative deal structuring so that you can incur debt in the business, so that you can acquire the business and its cash flow without the money coming from you. That's the LBO.
So I just want to make sure everybody heard this. So one of the things that B said in the beginning of the session, I was like, wait, don't do it. He was talking about how some of y'all could skip some of these quadrants and go straight to investor because of this strategy. He just said he purchases a business with no money out his pocket because he's utilizing debt structures from other entities or other areas to pay for the note of the business.